Hey everyone, Doug Giesler here. I just wanted to say happy holidays to everyone and get started on our plan to get May Day of Service rolling. We're going to talk about theme, logistics, activity, and promotions, tie all the roles together, make sure everybody's up to speed, and we've ironed out any of the logistical issues and go through any questions we have at the end. So I'm going to kind of go with each one of you individually first, and then we'll have a collective at the end. Does that make sense for you guys? Cool. Well, let's start with you, Yorona, for logistics. Where are we at with that?
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So, for our May Day of Service, I am very thrilled to say that we've secured a wonderful local food bank for our as our main venue. They offered up a space for 100 volunteers, and they only ask that we confirm the numbers 3 weeks in advance. So we'll be working backward from that deadline to make sure that our signups are solid. I reached out to several facilities, and honestly, one challenge was that the first site I contacted didn't return my calls for several weeks. So that reminded me of the importance of having a plan B. And the food bank was responsive, they were enthusiastic, and they were already familiar with hosting groups. So it felt like the perfect fit. Um, so we're going to begin the day with a short welcome and introductions and then give any community updates. We'll follow that by a service-focused keynote from a nonprofit local leader who's known for mobilizing community volunteers. And then after that, we're going to roll right into the service activity. And I know Carla's going to talk more about that, but we were talking about like sorting donations, packing boxes, right, Carla? We were talking about like greeting families, those types of things. And then we'll close with a brief reflection circle where participants can share what they learned. So logistically, I've built in an overflow capacity. So if Gary's promotions bring in more than 100 people, we'll have a secondary site at the Monroe Animal Shelter ready to absorb the extra volunteers. That way, no one's turned away. We're working on that. So basically, in summary, the venue's secured, the presenters confirmed, the timeline is mapped, and the contingency plans are in place. And of course, I'm going to coordinate with Carla on prize logistics and with Gary on the flyer deadlines so that we stay aligned. Yeah, I think it's shaping up really well. So,
Nice. Well done, Yorona. Is there anything that we need to do on our end to make sure that we have that secured or the second one is secured just in case, or have you got all that iron?
I got them. They are aware, they're ready, and I figure I want to talk more with Gary about that because like what's the promo like and things like that, and if we're are we generating right now any kind of feedback from the public to see what what the response has been because we know events like this in the past sometimes they have actually ended up with overflow. So I'm not too worried that it will overcapacitate the animal shelter. I think we'll probably hit like maybe potentially like half of what they can absorb for volunteerism. About
Okay, well, that sounds
yeah.
like a good segue over to Gary. Gary, what do you have going on with promotions, and when do you need, like, when do you need, and what do you need from us so that you can put the marketing stuff together?
Well, so Urana passed on the info for the location, and I spoke with the owner and got some really good ideas and stuff they've done in the past as well. Um, and so the promotions are I want to keep focused on making sure the outreach is simple, it's consistent, and easy for everyone to help to share, right? So the goal is clear for me is to make it effortless for people to see, share, and show up. Right, so we've started by we've concepts in the works right now for the flyers. It's energetic. It's a clean design. It's bold colors. We're using the tag share, sorry, serve, share, and celebrate. Right, that's kind of the tag because it captures the whole spirit of the event, right? And so we've got four different options of flyers, and they all include a QR code. So when they're posting it in the community in the different businesses that people can just scan and it'll take them right to the sign up location, whether they sign up online or whether they go to the location and actually fill out sign up forms there. Um, Yeah, so we've got flyers in the works. We've got some social media graphics. I am looking for maybe Yorona, you can kind of speak with the location. I did reach out to them, but they haven't got back to me. But I need some logos and stuff like that, as well as supporting businesses that are going to be supporting and involved. Kind of get there because we want to have their logos presented on the flyer in a nice way as well. So I need some good
Right. Yeah.
quality
Um,
images for those.
when do you think you want to have those by? It's just so that I can get a deadline for them.
If I can get them in the next 2 weeks, I think we could be good. I know we got the
Okay.
holidays coming up here, but
Yep.
um, I mean, my team still works on graphics and stuff through that. So, yeah, if we can get it in the next 2 weeks, that would be ideal
Sounds
because
good. I'll
then we
work
have
on
lots of
that.
time for
Um,
for
do,
feedback on drafts and getting it, any changes and stuff like that before the event.
Do you want some also from the animal shelter, just in case, like we should
Yeah,
put something
100%.
there so that, like, if we're doing the flyer like that, do you think that it makes sense to have like the food bank as the main one and then the overflow one? I don't, what I worry about is are people going to expect to be able to choose to go
To
to one or
both
the
or
other,
both. Yeah.
right? So
Well,
how
yeah,
will
I think that
that
we can
look?
in the design and the communication on the design, like we can say like, overflow, yeah, location type thing, so that they know that this is the primary and they can go to the other one, and
Good. Okay.
yeah, and the overflow can be less predominant on the page, right? So
Okay.
yeah, I think we can
Okay.
sort that out.
But I'll still get
Um,
logos from both. That way we have a
yeah,
little thing there. Okay,
for
great.
sure, for
That's
sure.
actually a
Yeah.
great idea because that will allow us to kind of engage the animal shelter for the next event. Should this one not roll over to them,
Ooh.
we're kind of ready for them
Yeah.
the next event. And they're already engaged in the process. We've got their logos. We're a step ahead. They're a step ahead. Everything's good.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
shows that we're creating collaboration in the community too, right? So that we're all working together to grow and do something good for the community. So yeah, and so the social media graphics and content will be creating a Google Drive folder for that. So maybe Doug, you can, I don't know, you can kind of have that ready set up so we can have a specific place to kind of put things for people, and a share link that people can get access to, people that are going to be promoting it, to get there and download stuff and share it and use it in whatever ways they're going to be helping to promote. Um,
Yeah.
and I also would like to maybe amongst us, I'm pretty loaded, but what I'd like to do is I'd like to also reach out to the businesses that are involved, including the main events, but anybody that's offering any gifts or side promos and stuff like that. If we can kind of get them involved in like an email campaign to send out to their lists, and
Yeah.
so it's no, we're not just relying on just social, but we're also sending out emails as well as the flyers in the community and things like that, and word of mouth, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good segue to Carla because we want to talk about the prizes that the businesses are offering as well as the drawing and announcing the winners and all that stuff. So I'm going to hand it off to Carla and let's talk about that.
Yeah, so just backing up a little bit. So I think it's for the activity itself, we need to be very organized in terms of, how we're gonna be packing all the food and sorting boxes. So it's really important to know how many people we're having, or if we're having more than 100, because we don't want to be disorganized when we are getting there. And also, we need to know like the prizes, who is gonna give prizes, and be very specific that we are going to be giving prizes on site. So we have to be collecting the name of the business, whatever they're going to be donating on that time, and be very specific that they're going to be there, of course, to donate. And of course, we want to highlight their businesses during that moment. So I think no, knowing how many people, what we're gonna do, what each person's gonna do, we really want the community to be very involved, and we wanna, of course, have as many people involved, like families, bring your children, to have something that is fun as well. And of course, everybody loves prizes, but we also not only want to give the prizes, but we want to highlight the business that are involved with the community service that we're doing at that time.
Yeah, Carla, I actually reached out to a few businesses in the community, and I've got a chiropractor who's interested in doing some stuff. So I'll send his info to you, as well as a dentist and also a cleaning service. So I'll send those over to you, and then you can kind of speak with them about what they can offer. And maybe we can even do something like a package, like a one big. They've got it's like a gift basket, but with services and gifts like that. Maybe we can think about doing something like that.
Yeah, that would be great. And also, I think it's also important because when I was thinking about doing the activities and how we are going to be organized in terms of packing, Yarona and even Gary, when we are advertising to really write down some options of what to bring, like what we are accepting as the shelter, because they don't accept everything as a donation. So it's important to be more specific in terms, okay, what we're going to be getting. So when we're planning on the activity, we already know what we're getting, and then we can divide, whoever is helping the volunteers into the right thing to do if they're going to packing or if they're going to be sorting the materials and everything. So
And I think we
it's
can
important.
do, like additional promo stuff too, like for that, right? So like we can do
Yep.
social posts specifically on, hey, here's so that we have different content that's going. It's not always just come, come, come. It's like, hey, here's also what's going to on. Here's some prizes, so we can kind of mix all that stuff up when we're creating that stuff. So, yeah. So the more we have those things locked in, then the more we can kind of add those components to the promo stuff.
Yeah, and I was thinking also for the younger kids who might come with their families, right? If they are having, they might not be able to sort donations or pack the boxes, but maybe they can greet families. Maybe they can give out things, to people. Maybe they could even write little, like for the ones who actually can write, the age range of writing. Maybe they can even write little, little, like one of the things this particular food bank is really great with is writing little personalized notes when they're giving out the donations to families in need. So maybe they can write some of the personalized notes or something like that. That might be a really cute activity for them to do. Yeah.
So when it
Yeah, I
comes
think that
to,
we
go ahead.
go ahead, Doug.
I was to say when it comes to the event, I'm just trying to tie the activities and the prizes to the logistics with you, your owner, because sometimes we need to kind of prepare in advance to, okay, where's the activity going to happen and where can we pick up our prizes at the end, right? So maybe you and Carla can kind of work that out.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll talk to the food bank organizers and double check because they've been doing this for so long, so they know exactly. They're pretty well coordinated, so they know exactly where everybody's gonna go. So we're just basically gonna align those people with where they're gonna go. Okay, here you're going to this section, you're going over to this section, you're going over to this section. So it'll be pretty well coordinated from them. But we'll double check that so that way we can make sure that we can get everything on Gary's promo so people know sort of what the activities are going to be when they actually do them. I think that would be really smart to make sure that they know that. So yeah, I'll double check all of those things.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That
And
sounds
as
good.
far as promo
yeah.
too, some other stuff we can do and think about, which we can't really do until event day, is and I think this could be something here I just thought about it. Something we could actually get some of the older kids involved in is we can have some of the older kids do some lives,
I
right?
like
They
that.
can do some
Oh
lives at the
yeah, I
event,
like that.
um, and share that in the social. So we can kind of get them involved and coordinate and set that up. And then have those pieces going out on the day of the event or even the day before. We kind of, if we know
Hmm.
there's going to be some volunteers for that, we can say, hey, let's get people. I think we're going to blow past 100, to be honest. So we'll see.
I think so too. I think we may well do that. So I want to talk to the animal shelter again, make sure I know their exact overflow capacity, and then maybe have some other added activities that people can that some people can do if we really blow past that even. Question, Gary. for the flyers, we need a couple of volunteers, right, to get those coordinated and sent and put out, right, into the community. So we probably need to do a couple of pre-steps to do that. Um,
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that yet. What do you
okay.
think is a good idea? How do you think we can
I'm
get that
thinking
organized?
that that we go to the high school because that would be really helpful. That would be a really nice thing for them to do to get them the flyers, to talk to them about getting the flyers put out
Hmm,
as like a community activity that they could do, maybe an after school activity or something like that. Um, just kind of coordinate something like that.
great
I could
idea.
definitely talk. I have a couple of parent volunteers, and some of the PTA members would probably really be happy to jump in on that. And then they could go
And
to
we can have
different
them send it out in their newsletter too, right? So looking for volunteers
Yes.
and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Exactly. We have enough time to do that, so we can definitely get that coordinated. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, we should probably maybe you and I can connect later and kind of have an idea of how many we want to have for that, what's the criteria that we want for those volunteers and that kind of stuff, right? Because
Yeah.
um, we don't want to be overloaded with that either and then be responsible and hand it as just another task. And
Right, right.
yeah,
Something we can relatively manage, I think,
manage.
is
Yeah.
best. I also want to note, just I didn't say this before, but my anticipation is that the presenter is going to maybe present for, the nonprofit local nonprofit leader is going to present for maybe 10 minutes just after the welcome and the introductions and the community updates. So they'll just do a quick 10-minute thing and then we'll jump right in. So I think and that'll also give us enough time to have all the volunteers there. So then we can kind of go, okay, here, for any late stragglers.
Does anyone have any connections with local celebrities or that we can maybe have them come out and do a little thing or um I know a pop singer, but she's too far away. I can maybe reach out to her and see
Hmm.
if she can come and do like a guest if she's in town. And I can have her come out and do something. But if
Mm.
even if we get like, like and it doesn't have to be like celebrity in that. It could be just like the mayor or something like that we have a connection with that we
Oh
can kind of
yeah.
get them.
Yeah, we
Or
could
radio
definitely
or
get some of the
a radio
Oh
personality is also nice.
yes. Thank you.
Great.
Yes, actually I know somebody. Okay. All right. I know somebody.
Hmm.
I'm gonna see and I'm gonna go touch base with them and see
Cool,
if
cool.
they would do that. Because they might even then bring their van out and do like
Which would be
a little
amazing. Yeah,
thing off of
yeah.
that. Yeah.
That
I
would
think
be
that'd be
super
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. Yeah, make fun. Yeah. The idea is to have fun as well. So that'll be amazing.
Well, it sounds like we got a pretty good wrap on this thing. Are there any needs out there that have not been identified or talked about yet?
Ooh, Gary, when you're doing the varied posts, make sure that also like people should know that they should come wearing comfortable clothes because you don't want to be coming
Yeah.
wearing uncomfortable clothes to do food bank work or animal shelter work. That would be that's not the kind of event that this is. It's a May Day of service. We're going to be in service clothes. So,
Got it. Got it.
yeah.
What a,
I think maybe I'm not sure that'll go on the flyer necessarily. I think maybe that's in post registration. So those that are registered, here's kind of
Yes.
what I because I think that's a lot already going on the poster. So
Oh, that's a good
I think we
idea.
can do that
Yeah.
in post registration. And then I think we should maybe in our next call also talk about, well, what's the post event promo stuff, like how are we going to take what we've done there and then repost it and retell people about it and kind of expand the impact of hey, here's what we've done, right? We were here because we're saying here's what we're going to do, but we want to say, well, here's what we ended up doing,
Right. Right.
right? So even after the actual event itself, I know
Yep.
we'll have live streams and whether we get the kids or us to do those will be there, but we want to kind of have that post stuff again to prepare for the next time we do it as well.
Yeah, probably in post, we want to highlight some of the prize winners. We want to highlight the
Mhm.
presenter again. We want
Yep.
to highlight like the number of volunteers that came out. Any
Yep.
any volunteers that went over and above, maybe something like
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And Carla, you
that's
want to make sure that any prizes, those are live. We should live stream every one of those.
oh yeah,
For sure. Yeah,
right?
so we
So we want to
can.
make sure that we have something set up, maybe a stage place where it's a presented, and then it's like, you know, you maybe what we'll do is if we have time, I'll have to look into if we can get it done in time. We can get a P4P like back banner, like a backdrop, and we can have that in the backdrop
Yeah.
when we're doing those presentations and stuff like that. So we're also pumping and promoting P4P as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'll be great. And I think also taking pictures because then we can, of course, post online and, so people can really see who is the winner and the prizes. And yeah, so the
One of the
post.
prizes could be something where we get the audience to post, right, and share. So we can think about something like that, where they're posting and they're tagging P4P and putting in the community for the food bank, and so they're tagging and promoting as well. So I think that's also something we can look at that as a possible additional thing to give a prize for, right?
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, let me write that down. Yeah, I think that'll be amazing.
Good. I got a couple other thoughts I wanted to throw at you guys. Let me know what you think. Well, three parts really. One, let's talk about each of our roles at the event, okay? And then two questions I wanted to ask is it possible that we could set up booths there? One station would be like, hey, do you want to host a P4P event so that we can start recruiting venues? And then another idea would be to have a P4P booth where we can explain how people can register and come into P4P going
Awesome
forward.
ideas.
It's otherwise it's a missed opportunity.
Awesome
So,
ideas.
yeah.
Awesome. I think that needs its own volunteer team too, so separate from
Yeah,
Yeah.
so because they'll need some training on what to say, how to direct people and stuff like that, right?
maybe
Yeah.
one of us can kind of man that booth and the others can maybe direct traffic. Jennifer's volunteering. Yay!
Uh, yeah, so usually I don't jump in, but we are doing a training. So I just want to give you guys some information on that. We have done that before, and it's a great idea. And a lot of times you'll hand that off to another department. So you'll say, hey, is the development department able to come to the event and run that booth? So that is a great idea that you guys have come up with. Just putting that out there since we're doing a training just to kind of let people know how to find those volunteers because all of our community, all of the leaders in the community are supposed to be there. So as you need additional volunteers, as you need that, look to other departments that we have in leadership and say, hey, would you guys be able to run that? Just putting that out there. And then the second thing I wanted to put out, but you guys are doing an amazing job. This is exactly how a meeting should be run. This is exactly what should be going on. So hopefully you all are learning a ton from this. But one of the other things I just wanted to put as a caveat, when we invite people to be presenters but be a part of it, we do require that everybody be a part of the community. So if you're inviting the mayor or something, give them a free community membership, right? Just remember these things as we're doing it because they have to be members, but totally, it's great to have those people, but give them a free community membership and then they're part of the community and they come present. So two
Awesome.
for one on that. And then lastly, and not a big deal, but if we have people in the community that are willing to donate banners or do like that, like you guys were talking about with putting banners and things behind us, which are great. We just always want to make sure that everybody knows who's running events. Those things aren't required. The events that we recreate we always don't want it to be cost that you guys have to pay for stuff to run things.
For sure.
That's why we're using food banks and things like that and doing those things. So as you're building this in your community, again, the ideas of having businesses help you promote and having them send that information. And this is a great idea. What they're doing here is amazing and wonderful. Just want to clarify some of those things for training so that everybody is clear on when you're doing this in your community. Do exactly what they're doing. Just putting those caveats out there. But yeah, I'm going to let them wrap this up so we can go to the next meeting.
Great. Any final questions, you guys?
No, on that note, I just remembered there is somebody who is in our community who does do print banners and things of that nature. So I'm actually going to tap that resource. And look. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, I guess that's a wrap.
Yeah, and just one more thing I think we need to add on the flyers. Kids underage has to be with parents. Yeah, they cannot be by themselves. I think it's important to highlight that when we're doing those type of events as
Mhm.
well. So I think we're done.
Any other
All right.
disclaimers we need to note, Jennifer?
There sometimes is like you have to check, usually with the event place, if they have disclaimers, like if you're going to the food bank and they say you have to wear gloves or you have to whatever, or you can't be sick or you can't be ill, or they may have things. So always check with where you're having the event and make sure, or if there's parking restrictions or different things like that that people have. Just look at the facility itself and then note that usually because you're going to go according to what their rules are at that place.
Yeah. And we'll need to have someone, whether it's us or them, that kind of is also tracking the amount of people in the location because fire safety and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Yeah, we might need
Right.
overflow parking or whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
We
Yeah.
have had that issue. We've had places that we've gone and then parking's got out of control where we've had to have people like police came and goes, you have so many cars here. What's going on? Which is a great problem to have, but it is good
Yeah.
to be mindful of that.
Yeah. I'd be like, call the local news, come and come have them talk about it.
Exactly. We were expecting to have a couple of hundred at our event and we ended up having a couple of thousand.
Wow.
Mhm.
So it
Yeah,
became a
amazing.
little bit of an issue. So
Well, awesome. We're about 3 minutes ahead of schedule. So anybody need to take a quick break before we get on to the next meeting?
okay. I think you're ready to go.
All right. Had a little drink there. Now I'm ready to go. Not a drink, just some water. Playing around. So you guys ready? Hey everyone. Happy holidays. Today we're getting together to talk about our upcoming event, which is Share the Love. What an awesome event. P for P. It's like all about us, right? So anyway, we're here to talk about the theme, logistics, activity, and promotions, tie all the roles together, iron out any questions. So I want to go through each kind of department one by one, and then we'll have a wrap session at the end, answer any questions, tie the knots, and move on. So let's go ahead and start with logistics, Yorona.
Okay, for Share the Love, obviously this is an online event, so it's going to be a little bit different than our local ones. The heart of this meeting is connection. So we're going to spotlight businesses and give everyone a chance to be seen and heard. We're going to start with a welcome, then any quick updates for our community, and then we're going to follow it by two presenters who are each sharing a short highlight about their business. Pretty short. Then we're going to explain the logistics of what will happen in the breakout rooms, and then we'll move into the breakout rooms. Each one of us is going to host a breakout room, and then we're going to guide participants through 30-second introductions, 30 seconds, so everyone gets equal time. And then we're going to answer one connection-focused prompt question. So this ensures that we're not just meeting and getting each other's names, but we're actually building relationships. And then after the breakout sessions, we're going to reconvene in the full room, share our reflections, and announce the prize winners. One logistical adjustment, we are recommending that, and I really firmly believe this is necessary, that we have a 15-minute cutoff for entry. That way we avoid any interruptions, having to repeat instructions for late arrivals, and we're really signaling that this event is valuable and it's worth showing up on time for. Time-wise, we're aiming for about 60 minutes. The flow is welcome, updates, presenters. That should all take about 10 minutes. Then quick logistics about the breakout rooms. Then we move into the breakout rooms, networking for 30 to 40 minutes, and then prize announcements and wrap up at the end for 10 minutes. I'm going to coordinate with Carla to make sure that the prize logistics are ready, and Gary, the promotional materials that clearly explain the cutoff and the timing. So I think with those pieces in place, we're going to have a really smooth and engaging Share the Love event that, celebrates our businesses and our community.
Sounds awesome. Sounds awesome. I do need to check with Jennifer about the 15-minute cutoff. I don't know that we 100% got that ironed out, so I'll check with her and we'll make sure that we can still do that.
Okay.
As far as promotions, Gary, what do you have? Let's talk about promotions, what you need from us, what you've got ironed out already.
Okay, so we've only just got it started on this promo stuff. and getting clear on what the actual event we're doing, or activity is a better word for it, the activity we're doing during the event. I did speak with Carla, and we did come up with a pretty cool networking type process where they will the ideas we want to have where they're sharing info, but in a different way, where when you do a breakout in a Zoom meeting of some kind, you're going and you tell your elevator pitch, blah, blah, and then the next person, next person, next person. I want to do slightly different where it becomes interactive, where we have them they share. So like me and Doug, for example, it'd be A and B. So I'm sharing to Doug, and I'm saying, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how I contribute to the community and serve people. Then Doug has to listen, take notes, and then when I'm done, then he does the reverse, and I listen and I take notes. And then when we come back to the group room, we're going to pick people to share about the other person. Right. So I'm going to talk about Doug and what he does. So I'm going to kind of, build him up and hype him up and do that. So that way it becomes interactive, and we kind of then engages active listening, right? Instead of just.
Yes, well, Gary, that's what I was saying, that if we have a prompt question, that would be like, instead of just saying, here's what I do, we could answer a question like, what's one way your business or your work has made a positive impact in the community this year? So
Yeah.
that people are actually answering a deeper level question rather than just what they do, but they're actually really going into a little bit more
Yeah,
depth.
so
And
we start, Carla and I, just the basic one. We have, here's what I do and how I help community or families, and kind of start from there as the prompt to kind of get the conversation going, right? But yeah, no, I love the idea of Huss coming up with a few different ones, so that it's not everybody's answering the same thing. Maybe they
right,
can
right.
randomly pick, right?
I
I think that'd
have
be
Yeah.
I
cool.
have four that I actually came up with, so
Nice,
as
nice,
possibilities. So that was one. What's one way your business or work has made a positive impact on the community this year? Another one
nice.
is, if you could share the love with one other business or person here today, who would it be and why? So
Cool.
you're recognizing somebody else and networking. And then what's a challenge you're facing right now, and what kind of support would be most meaningful? Because that really opens the doors for collaboration
Which
and
leads to
empathy.
so the second part. That's perfect. And Carla, you can jump in anytime. But what we had thought about was the first. So there's going to be two main types of breakouts. So the first one we call share the love story chain, where we're doing, like I said, the A B, and then the B has to talk about A, and then A has to talk about B, and share what it is when they come back to the group setting. Then we want to do that cycle twice. So then they go back into another group, random meeting where it's new people, and they got to do it again. So they're getting a lot of interaction. It's not just two people. It's actually four in a room, depending on how many. But we were thinking four in each breakout, just randomly, and then you got A and B, and they share, and then they come back, and then we pick randomly volunteers to share like four or five in the group setting, and then we send them back into another random, and so they're meeting a bunch of
Yeah.
different people and doing this a couple times and sharing. Then the next networking type thing is what we call when in need, go to your community, right? So
Mm.
now, right, what they want to do is they're going to share a community need or request. And so if there's four of us in a room, I would say, well, okay, I'm looking for a tutor for my 13-year-old twins. Right, I don't have 13-year-old twins, but if I did, right, right, and so I put that out to the community, and then my volunteers, the other people in my breakout, would then brainstorm ideas or give resources and stuff. So it becomes this little thing, and then when they've all had that opportunity to share what it is they need, then we would come back to the group setting, and then again randomly pick four or five people to spread out to the group, and then we would have these and this is part of the promo stuff that we are talking about. Then after this is done, they would then share that person's business on social, or they would share, hey, so and so is looking for this on their social. So it becomes this opportunity to go out into the community and get those resources.
I like where you're going with it, Gary. I'm always worried about timing, as you know, and things
Yeah,
of
no,
that nature,
we'll
and
talk about it more,
what's
but we haven't kind of
realistic
dialed
in
into it.
terms of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time. So I think it's going to be based off of how many people show, right? Can we need to have a registration cutoff then to
Yep.
ensure that if we have the number, then we can actively ensure that, whatever for the activity, that what we're going to be doing is actually going to feel valuable and not rushed or
Yeah,
confusing. So I
totally
think
get it.
that's really important. So the simpler
Yeah,
we
because we
can
had
make
that in the
it,
last one, right? So we
Yeah.
right,
we learned from
exactly,
that.
right.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why we decided we talked about is 60 minutes enough? When you have a really large group, I think this is worth a more full-throated conversation with our executives, because
Yeah,
60 minutes is really rushed.
it's tight. I know. Yeah.
It's quite tight when you have a large group. When you have a small group, that's a different story. If you have only 10 or 15 people showing up, then you have the luxury of time. But if you have 100 people showing up to an online event, it's like, oh, what's going on? I'm still confused. We just finished 60 minutes and I have no idea what happened. So I think
Yeah.
that's worth a more nuanced conversation to have.
You
Yeah,
know,
no, for sure. And
that's
go ahead, Doug.
I was gonna say we are going to try and keep it to 60 minutes and do more breakout sessions rather than extend it. But I mean, when we get up into the thousands, that may be something that we need to consider because then you just don't have enough people to
Yeah.
be able to
The
present.
idea is for you to get to
One of
know
the
everybody. Yeah.
One
Like 5 minutes break. Yeah.
One other thing I want to put out there with events, depending, especially Education Week, networking, and things like that, you can have multiple events too within your community. So you don't always have to think about one event, dividing up the community and 100 increments, or having one, this day we're going to be doing this with Education Week, and this week, just like when you're doing the local events, they can go to multiple facilities to experience the Education Week, go to
Yeah.
this place to be able to try out Pilates, and this place to go try out
So you're creating basically
learning
micro
about health and
themes, right?
wellness. And
Yeah.
so doing that on this event, instead of trying to rush 1,000 people into, you can say we're doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and these leaders are going to be growing that. And so just to put that out there, just for everybody to wear on events, there's different ways to format that too.
So one kind of take this to the next level as far as planning and logistics. So Gary, you're kind of tied into Yorona. I think we should probably put together like a Google Drive setup like you did, with all that stuff. And then
Yeah.
when we get into the event, I know Yorona, you do a great job of going through the logistics in the beginning, but then people forget. So like once
Yeah.
they get to the
I was
actual
thinking about that.
breakout
I'm going to
room,
post them in the chat so that way
yeah,
people have it to refer back to. Okay, refer back
yeah.
to the
So
chat
like,
for here are the
yeah.
instructions. Yeah.
Once they
Yeah.
get into the breakout room, here's your little cheat sheet, right? And then,
Yep.
okay, you have to assign a note taker, you have to assign a speaker from when you come back into the room, and
Right.
then everything's on that little cheat sheet. Boom, bang, ding, we're good. Make sense?
You know
But I
what I've
think
done in the past too for logistics is when it's something like that where we want it consistently throughout the meeting is I've got another laptop, and what I do is I log in to that laptop on the call, and then I have a screen with the logistics on it, and so everybody's always got access to it.
okay.
Okay, I see what you're saying. That's an
Right?
idea. Okay,
Yeah.
so that everybody can see it as opposed to trying to
It's
scour
always,
And
they
I
just
think
have to
what
go
is
to the
really
through the
gallery
important,
and
chat.
find
Yeah.
that one thing and highlight that one thing if they want to always look at what the logistics are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and be very clear on the questions. I think not have
Mhm.
so many different instructions. So
Yeah.
during
Right.
the events, Irona said it's important for us not to get people to after 20, 30 minutes, because then we will have to re-explain over and over again, even
Yeah.
though it's there on the chat, people are
Yeah.
still going to get confused because you're in the middle of something, right?
Yeah.
So whenever we're doing breakout rooms, it's important to be very clear. So whenever I'm doing an activity, it has to be very clear, the questions, how many minutes you're gonna have to answer, and then you're gonna swap and ask the same questions to your partner. And then you are the one who's gonna talk about your partner, not yourself, right? So those are very clear instructions. So when we open up, and of course, we're not gonna have not everybody will have the opportunity to share, but I think being very clear, and the more your Rona and Gary can be very clear in terms of, oh, those are the questions, here is the timeline, this is how many minutes you're gonna have. I think people
Yes.
really like that. So we can have an event that is very smooth and people will benefit from it at the end,
Right.
right?
So
That's why we'll want to have the plan for the logistics of when is the cutoff, so we know, okay, oh, 30 people are registered to come. Great. So
Yeah.
for 30 people, we know that we can, make a small room of, and like Doug said, make smaller breakout rooms, maybe of 2 to 3 people, where they're sharing, where they're really connecting with one another.
Yep, that was the plan.
It,
Yep.
it really depends on the timing. So, but I don't like to make it overly complicated when it's 60
For sure.
minutes, because 60
Yep.
minutes goes by super fast, and you want to
Mhm.
give them time. The whole purpose of this event is to connect, to
Yep.
share, to really be in that space of deeper connection. And that's
You
hard
know
to
what
do
we
if
can
we're
do too
constantly
is
sending people all over the place.
we can get together and do a mock breakout to see what that time is, right? So we can, and so we can kind of have an idea and
Yep.
of what that. So I mean, we can, 4 of us get together
Right.
and do that and say, okay, well, here's the reality of the time it'll take,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
we can kind of plan out the thing from there. So as far as promo stuff, again, we're still working on the flyer concept and all that kind of stuff. And based on the event, we will need to create a landing page for that. So, I mean, it's landing page graphics, copy, registration, how they're going to register for that. And, that will involve, are we having a capacity on that? We should let them know in the flyer as well as on the landing page. Um, we also need to create the confirmation that so confirmation email to send out once they've registered. Then reminders. So we'll need to have. I like to do at least 24 hours before, 1 hour before, and then 10 minutes before reminders, just to kind of give them the nudges. So we need to create that content. Uh, and then obviously the social posts, I want to have the quotes ready for people to just kind of just copy paste and drop and post. I'd like to create an event countdown too, so we have 5 days left, 4 days left. So I'm going to create a series of posts to kind of build the hype for that. And then if we are going to have any um, again, when we hash out the actual events and what we're doing at the event, the activities, if we are going to do any highlights of any speakers or businesses, to kind of have some stuff ready for that as well. I know we talked, Doug, last time about having a way to kind of pick those randomly and like with spin the wheel, but before the event, and then do a live reveal of, hey, here's who's going to get highlighted, that kind of stuff. So I think we still have to really work more on the what are all those pieces, and to your point, what's the time frame for each of them, and make sure we can
Yeah.
kind of get them down. And then based on those things, it's going to be easier to create the promo content for that, right? And then to have a Google Drive, a promo library folder where all the stuff is in there, where they've got the email promos, they've got the text messages, and the social posts and stuff like that.
yeah, I love the way that you set that up, Gary. That was awesome. The last one.
Uh,
And I also wanted to say, just so everybody's aware, when you do these online events, everybody will have their own Zoom account for this event. So just so everybody is aware, you will have your own Zoom account. Within that Zoom account, you can set up reminders that can go out, like Gary was talking about. You can also, so you don't have to think you're having to set this up by yourself. All of those things are provided for you in your communities, and it tallies the registration. It knows how many people are coming. It knows all of that. You'll be able to have their email information. All of that is provided to you by the community. So just want to make sure that as we're planning this and doing this, that everybody's who having these events are aware that those things are given to you from the community so that you can be able to do that and track that.
Oh, Jennifer, you said when we were talking about this, about the possibility of using the wheel to pick out the presenters, of doing it at the impact meeting, right? I think it was at the impact meeting because everybody's going to be there.
Connection meeting.
The connection meeting, sorry.
Connection.
The connection meeting of having because everybody's going to be there already. So we could do that in advance of the thing and we can have that live, like,
Live
okay,
stream that.
everybody all the businesses who register are in here and who's going to
Yep.
win. And then we do that at the connection meeting. And then that way we have the presenters already picked out. And then once that happens, I will speak to each of the presenters that are chosen to ensure that they are really strict on the time frame that they have to do their intro and their quick highlight for their business.
Yep, I'll put that in front of the executive group in the next meeting. So let's roll over to Carla and see if we've got an activity and prizes that we need to talk about as well. And we're about 16 minutes in, so let's get that going.
Yeah, so I think what we just talked about it, being very specific, and we were planning about the timing that we were thinking about, doing 5 minutes. We're gonna do an explanation and a demo. So our executive team will show up, pair up, and show exactly how to role play. The question could be any of the questions that Irona just put on the chat, or what I do and how I help the community and families. So we do that, and then we are gonna be, giving 10 minutes breakout rooms, and then switch again, more 10 minutes breakout rooms. So our goal is to have about 25 to 30 minutes of activities in the breakout rooms, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna be sharing 5 minutes of you can unmute and share, and then later on we're gonna be adding the businesses and adding to the wheel, and we're gonna be selecting some of the business to get prizes at the end of
You're gonna
our
spin-
event.
So we're gonna do this, spin the wheel,
Yeah.
baby. Woohoo! Everybody loves the spin the wheel.
Everybody's excited.
All right, well, good. I think we're pretty much ironed out on that. I know maybe I should have come to you before Gary this time around. Sorry about that. Maybe I was out of order.
That's
But
all right.
let's
Well, let me just share also just a concept so everybody can see that for Share the Love, a concept of where we're going with potentially the flyer so y'all can see where we're looking at doing something like that.
Sweet.
That's beautiful.
Right?
I
So
love
it's going to
that.
be,
That's awesome,
Yeah.
Gary. Nice. Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so that's the direction we're going with the
And
flyer.
any questions, like the questions we prepared, we selected, like Irona, is really to highlight,
Mhm.
your passion, your business, right? Because your business is really your passion. That's why you do. And we want to share and we want to highlight that in a very beautiful way. So thinking about the questions, what are the questions that we can ask during this activity that you are going to be highlighted just from the moment you answer the questions, right? So even though if you're not, of course, we're not going to be able to highlight everybody, but once you take that opportunity as one-on-one when you're sharing, people will see that you really love what you do. And that's how we prepared this activity. So we can, even though not everybody's going to be highlighted, but you can be highlighted during these breakout rooms.
I do have also one thing too, that if a presenter cancels, like let's say I find out the presenter cancels, I'm going to identify a backup speaker too. So that way, just in case, because we don't want to end up with oh, well, so-and-so didn't show up. So we're just going to, so I'll do that too. I'll make sure that we have somebody identified as a backup business leader who can prepare a short message to share.
Cool.
Couple other ideas I wanted to throw out, you guys. always a good idea to identify our roles coming into the event because, if we have a lot more people, in the event, it becomes a little bit more difficult to manage it. So that's something we should probably talk about. I also want to talk about a way to promote the local. In other words, we're doing a focal event, but let's promote local too, like so that
Yeah.
maybe people could maybe some people out there want to host an event at their establishment. So and then there's got to be a little
Mm.
plug for P4P somewhere in the line. So one of us needs to do that maybe towards the end. And Gary, the last meeting that we did, you really did a great job wrapping it up. And when you asked that question, like, "Hey, what did you like about this event?" I love that segment. And
Mhm.
that could be the segue where you could do like a little bit of, "Hey, that's what we do here at P4P," and do like a P4P kind of a plug. What do you guys think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, I think it's good. And on if we step into the training hat here, for those that are listening, is if you're doing the online, you always want to get testimonials about the event, and so that's a good way to do it, right? And what I like to ask is, what did you find valuable about this? Because then they're thinking, I got value, right? So they're coming from that
Yep.
place, and then have them kind of open up the floor and share from there, and then that becomes promo material for future events and stuff like that that we can use as social post and whatnot. So yeah, no, I think that that's a good idea to keep doing that and to tie in the hey, that's what P4P is all about and that kind of language. I'm totally happy with doing that at the end again.
Okay, sounds great. Any other ideas?
It's ideas, but
I know you're full of them, Gary. Jennifer,
I
anything you want to add?
I think this was amazing. These guys are outstanding leaders, and they are very, very great at what they do in this and in everything. But we are so lucky to have them. But if you want to hear more from them during the second cycle of every week, we are doing a workshop. We do the week of workshops. So they will have their events meeting. So when you go and do your live events, you do those things in the community, you can join them during that week. They can answer questions. They can incorporate new ideas for you. They will help with resources and help you guys build. So as you're doing that, you have these amazing people as resources to go to. So great job. Thanks, everybody. Amazing meeting. Thank you so much, Doug. And happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks
Hopefully,
for showing up,
everybody will be
everyone.
doing great.
Yeah,
Thanks,
happy
everyone.
holidays, everyone. Don't forget, you got to share the love now. You don't have to wait till February.
Absolutely. Thanks,
Merry
guys.
Christmas.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.